Hey y'all, today I am going to be telling the story on when I was pregnant and why I don't have a baby right now. Give me one sec. Alright, I'm putting my lashes on. But, okay, so I got pregnant. What is it now? It's October. I got pregnant, like the beginning to middle of, sorry, I'm looking at my hair. It looks good on camera, but in person, I'm not really sure. I gotta, like, pluck it. But, sorry, I'm getting off track. I got pregnant at the beginning to middle of 2019. I mean, what would the story be without a backstory? So I'll give a little backstory, but not, like, a super long one, because I don't want this to be a long video, because I've shot this video, like, 3 times and haven't posted it because it's just too much to mess with and edit. But yeah, so my cousin had a boyfriend. We're gonna name the boyfriend, I don't remember his real name anyway. We're gonna name him D. Okay, so my cousin had a boyfriend named D, and they were doing a long distance thing, and I'm not putting their business in the video because that's not what the video is about, but they were doing a long distance thing, and he came down to Maryland for a little bit, and we would all hang out. And so the first time we hung out, my cousin was like, do you have a friend for my cousin, being me? I drove to where they were because they were living with each other at the time while he was down there at his friend's house that he brought with him. And they all got in my car, and I just remember me going like, I'm not gonna entertain him. I just don't feel like being bored. I don't want to be a third wheel, but I'm not really about to entertain whoever's in the car with him. I'm not really interested. But I don't know if I was just getting out of something or what, but I just was not interested. So they got in the car, and I was just in the driver's seat. My cousin was in the passenger seat. D, which is her dude, was sitting behind her, the passenger seat, and then the friend was sitting behind me. So I just had my back turned. I wasn't talking or anything. But you know how car seats, they have like you can pull the head thing off the hinges. So he was like, why aren't you talking to me? I said, I don't know. And then he pulled the head thing off the hinges, and he was like, now I can see your beautiful face, or something like that, or now you have no reason to not look at me. And I was like, I never had that happen. So we all hung out that night. We were having fun. We were dancing and playing around and joking, and we would get lit together. It became like a thing that happened often for the next couple days. We would just sit in my car and like smoke and chill, and real chill stuff. I like stuff like that. So one day we were hanging out at an undisclosed location I'm not gonna give out, and I'm gonna call the dude that I was talking to E. So me and E were together, and then my cousin and her dude D was together. I'm just gonna call her dude because there's no reason to give him a name if I'm just gonna keep saying her dude, and I'm just gonna say my dude. So me and my dude were all booed up. Her and her dude were all booed up at this location, and me and my dude ducked off, and her dude were in a different location, but we were all in the same place. So this is all happening within like, this all happened within like a month. Everything I'm about to say is happening within like a month span. We didn't really know each other like that, me and my dude. So We ducked off and we had sex. Now, this isn't the first time that we had sex. We had sex in his car. He said it was his car, but it was really his ex's car. And when she found out about me, because I feel like he was cheating on her with me, I didn't know. It's a lot of crazy stuff with her. She's just crazy. She kept popping up wherever we were and texting me and going crazy over him, and I was wondering why. And I was like, whatever. I never dealt with like a crazy ex before like that. But no, we'd already had sex before, but not a lot. But we had sex this night, and we had a condom on. But I just remember that night we had the condom on. I was like laying down, and he was sort of just looking at, he was just standing there looking at himself. And I was like, why is he just standing there? Like, that's weird. So I'm like, but it's whatever. We were wearing a condom. So take note of this time. Okay? So, and it was really, really, really dark, but I knew for a fact we had a condom on. So, fast forward. I don't know if we had sex like that before he got shot or after he got shot through his like neck and it came out his back. All four of us, we were all at the hospital, just waiting, making sure he was good. I drove his family up to the hospital. That's when I found out that about his ex-girlfriend, because she was there and I got upset. But he was like, I told her not to come, I told her to leave, I told her, because she came out the room and was like, I'm his girlfriend, who are you guys? Me and my cousin. And I was like, oh, you're his girlfriend? Oh, okay, that's cute. And then I got up and I was ready to leave, and then his friends were like, oh yeah, he wants to talk to you, just go back there. And that's when he told me that's just my ex to them. So since he got shot, the people that he was living with, they didn't want him there anymore. So we were moving around from hotel to hotel. At this time, I wasn't at home a lot. I was just out, just running around with him. Sometimes me and him would sleep in the car. No, I had a place to go. He didn't. But I was just trying to be a rider. I do that for people I fuck with. Like, this isn't the first time I had to sleep in a car for somebody I fucked with, and I have a whole place to sleep. But, yeah, so I was paying for hotel rooms. Hotels are expensive. I'm paying for motels, good motels, because, I'm not bougie, but, like, nobody's staying in no roach-infested motel. But we stayed in one motel and a couple hotels. And I remember one time I paid for a hotel and we couldn't get into it, so I paid for a whole hotel we couldn't even sleep in. And then I ended up having to pay for another hotel that same night. I was just blowing money because he didn't have a job, he didn't have a car, he didn't have anything at all. He barely had clothes. His clothes would be sitting in my trunk, and I would drive around with them, like, because he had nowhere to put them. But so we were all hanging out in some hotels, and after a while of us hanging in hotels, the people that he lived with, because his house that he was living in got shot up and his family was in there. His aunt's house. It was his aunt's house, and all of his cousins and stuff lived in that house with him. So when he got shot, the people who shot him shot up the house too, and his family was in there. Was like a little baby in there, everything. So his aunt was like, you're the reason why my house got shot up, and we don't feel safe to stay here, so you can't be around us, right? So then his cousins turned on him because I guess he told his mother or whoever, look, me and my cousins all be doing some grimy stuff and some wild stuff. So, and when they started shooting, they were saying one of my cousins' names. So in reality, it could have been for my cousin, but I'm the one who got shot and I was the one who was out, so I take responsibility. But at the same time, they were saying like my cousin's name while they were shooting at me. They said they were looking for my cousin, one of the cousins that lived in the house. So I guess the aunt told the cousins that And they were like, oh, why is my mom, the aunt, why is my mom telling me that you're saying it's my fault that the house got shot up? And you know what? I don't bang with you anymore. Because, no, they've been cousins forever, but they're not actually blood. So they discarded him. So now he has nobody but me, right? Okay. So fast forward. Me and him go after his ex popped up and his cousins, they want to fight and everything. We end up going to a hotel, just me and him. He texted me the hotel location, and his mom helped us get it because she works in like hotels and stuff. So only I knew the location and his mom. Now, at this time, my cousin's boyfriend, my guy had gave my cousin's boyfriend an iPhone, right? So the iPhone had my boyfriend's iCloud and stuff connected. So any texts, any calls, any pictures, anything that my boyfriend would get on his phone, it would go to the other boy's phone too, because the phones were synced, basically. Okay? Got it? So anything that he texts me, anything that my boyfriend would text me or say to me, all that will go to the other guy's phone because it's all linked. So realistically, like, I remember one time my cousin's ex, he was texting me, and I was getting, it was coming up as my boyfriend's number. I was like, how you texting me, but it's coming up as my boyfriend's number? But it was because the phones were synced. Okay, we know from that. So me and my dude were at the hotel. He sent me the location. I came. We were there for like a couple days. This is it right here. Okay, so while we're at the hotel, I was having really bad back pains that I've never had before, and I was like really in pain. I couldn't handle it. We were already drinking. He was getting me out alcohol. He had just got shot, so he had, I think they were Percocets, I think. He had Percocets. He was like, here, take a Percocet, it'll help the pain. I've never been a pill popper ever. I don't do Percocets or Xan, but he was like, just take a perk, it'll help the pain. So I was like, okay, if you say so. So I took one, and I felt like a zombie. I felt dead, and my body was limp. I just felt like my body was there, but I wasn't. And that's when he started to have sex with me. And I wasn't really aware of what was going on, but I just knew that even if I didn't want this to happen, it was going to happen anyway, because I didn't have any strength. Like, my body was just limp. So he started having sex with me, whatever. I'm just laying there, honestly. And I used to tell him every day, I don't want a baby, I'm not ready for a baby, because he would always be like, you're a down female, I'm gonna put a baby in you, I want to have a kid with you, I'm ready, I think it's time, blah blah blah. I'd be like, no, I'm not ready, every day. So while he was on top of me, he was like, oh, you're not ready for a baby, right? Oh, but you want to know how it feels to have one? And then he was just like, ugh. That's what it would feel like to have one. He just did it in me. And he just laid there, and I just remember being so shocked. I sat up, and I just sat there, and I didn't say anything. I was just sitting there, like, not moving, in silence. And he was like, are you good? He was looking at me like he was scared, because I was about to choke him out. But he was like, are you okay? I was like, why would you do that? And he was like, I'm sorry, I was just in the moment. Like, I was like, are you stupid? Like, I was just mad. I was like, we need to go get a plan B right now. I'm not playing. He was like, well, why? And I was like, I tell you every day I don't want to have a baby, and you're gonna do this? Are you stupid? I'm just going, oh. So it's like, let's get my keys and let's go. We're going, and you're paying for it. I'm not paying for anything. You did this, you're gonna pay for it. And earlier that night, we had just came from selling. He used to sell his Percocets. he sold his perks for $50. So he got $50 total. And then because he scammed somebody that lived in my neighborhood, so it could have came back to me. They could have hurt me because they only knew me. They didn't really know him, but he didn't really care about that. But he scammed them like I don't know what. He gave them little tiny Percocets. He gave them little tiny ones that cost like $5 maybe for one. He sold 5 of them for $50. So he was selling each one for $10, and the guy saw it when we drove off, and he kept calling and texting. He was like, "Yo, these aren't like $50. Like, you scam me, etc." And I was like, you're putting me in a really unsafe situation. He was like, "Nah, they were. I don't know anything about selling drugs, like." He was like, "Nah, they are 10s." I had to press him. I was like, "You're putting me in danger. Were they really 10s?" He was like, "I mean, I don't know. On the pills, I think they said like 5s. I don't really remember. I really don't. I don't really care that much." But anyway, what was I saying before that? We drove to the CVS. I made him spend that whole $50 he just got on the plan B. Since you want to be stupid, your money is gone now. That was the only money he had too. But we were sitting there. He was like, "I think you should keep it," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna keep it." Right? And he starts getting excited. He was like, "Oh my God, yay!" When he looked the other way, I popped that pill so quick. I didn't tell him. Because I was like, let me see how this plans out. Let me see how he would act. Right? If he really thought I was having a baby. So we got back to the hotel. He's all rubbing my stomach. I would come back to the hotel the next day from where he rubbed my feet. It seemed real sweet, right? So eventually we ended up leaving the hotel. And he drove me to work, but he was going to use my car while I was at work, because I'm stupid. Girls, don't ever let a dude that you've only known for like a month take your car, your whole car. Like, no. I was stupid. But I had told my cousin, right, after the whole do happened, I was like, he just did this to me. I know I'm about to get pregnant. My cousin was like, I don't really like him anyway. My boyfriend told me that he's not the person he makes himself out to be, and he's a player, and he said that his cousins got the house shot up, and he's not taking responsibility for his actions. And I was like, look, and I still feel like this, honestly, no beef or anything. I'm just saying, I still feel like this. I only knew my dude for like a month. She only knew my dude for like a month, right? So realistically, me and her don't know anything really about him. Honestly, he could be a whole different person, but me and her would never know. So what I was saying was, look, because she was coming strong and hard. Like, he's a B, he's this, he's that. And I'm like, look, you're totally entitled to your own opinion, because I have my own opinion on who you're talking to as well, and for obvious reasons. But don't speak on things that you don't know about, because not even I know about the things that you're saying about him. You're saying he's a B, and he's a traitor, and he said this and he said that. But if you and him don't talk personally, and y'all don't know each other on a personal level, you met him when I met him. You're entitled to your opinion, but you don't speak like you know him. Don't speak like you know for a fact, like, that he's going to switch up on me. He's going to do this. He said this. He did this. You don't know what he said. You don't know what he did. You're just going off of he say, she say, based off of what your boyfriend told you. And your boyfriend isn't the most reliable person to believe. I'm trying to keep it so that I don't put their business out there. It's none of my business. It's not my business to tell. But yes, so I was just getting frustrated, not because it wasn't like I'm getting frustrated because you're talking about my man. It was like hey, neither one of us know that much about him, so don't automatically assume? Why don't you ask him, or why don't you figure out if this information is 100% true before you go around saying different things about him? So, and I don't know, it was like battle of the boyfriend, because I was telling her stuff about her dude. She was saying all this stuff about my dude, but I was giving her facts. I was like, hey, you remember when we were all out and your boyfriend found this in his phone and he was doing this, and yeah, just other stuff. But he was a very disrespectful dude. He was very disrespectful. He was blatantly disrespectful in front of her face, behind her back. He didn't really care what he said or did, because he felt like he had a hold on her. So no matter what he did, I can cheat, I can do this, I can say this, I can disrespect you like this, I can make you cry like this, but I will always have you on a leash. I feel like that's how he felt. And I didn't like that, but I let them do their thing, because it's not my business. Your relationship has nothing to do with me. If you want to be with somebody, you're going to be with somebody. We're all adults. But we're just going back and forth. So I guess she called me a couple of times and I didn't answer, and then it started this whole big thing, and people were trying to fight and etc. But fast forward to later, so maybe 2-3 weeks later, the dude I was talking to moved to Virginia, and I was feeling really sick, but I was like cramping a lot. So I was like, hey, my body's acting really weird. I don't remember the symptoms I had exactly. My body's acting really weird. I'm cramping really bad. I think something was like happening. I might be pregnant. And he was like, okay, well, why don't you get a test? I was like, I want us to do it together. So he came down from Virginia for a doctor's appointment, and then he drove over to my house, and then we drove over. Well, he had his aunt drive him over. Then his aunt drove us over to CVS by my old house, and we got a test in the store. I went in the CVS bathroom. I took the test. It came out positive. I walked out. She was like, so what happened? I just handed it to her. She was like, wow, so what now? He looked surprised. He was like, oh my gosh. I was like, why are you acting surprised? Because you did this on purpose. Like, you purposely did this. You told me while you were doing that you were purposely doing it, and you told me after that you purposely did it. So don't put on the front for her. You did this on purpose. You wanted this to happen. So surprise. Like, but we left CVS. Right after we left CVS and they dropped me off, he went right back to Virginia. And he wasn't really present during the whole time. I went to get an abortion. I went to the abortion clinic, and they said I was too early, so they couldn't do it. Then, like, what day did I have my miscarriage? It was on a holiday. It was on a holiday, I think. It was on a holiday that was supposed to be good. I found out I was having a miscarriage. Well, I sort of figured. I was at work. I was working at the movie theater at the time. I went to the bathroom. I was bleeding. I asked my mom what that probably meant. She said probably a miscarriage, because I told my mom like a week or two after I found out I was pregnant. I was like, I'm pregnant. And she was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, so what do you want to do? She was really calm. And I was like, I don't really want to have it. I'm not ready, and I don't feel like this is the person I want to have a baby with. And she was like, okay, well, don't just say that because of me. Do it because you want. Like, if you want to do something like that, then make sure it's because you want it. Don't do it because anybody else may want it or whatever. Do what's in your heart, and I will be there with you in 100 of the way, and etc. Very supportive. I was crying. It was so emotional. But back to the miscarriage. She was like, it's probably a miscarriage. You should probably leave work and go to the hospital. My friend at the time, she took me to the hospital and she stayed with me, and they were like, well, we can't give you medication because you're too early and we can't tell if the baby is alive or not alive. And I was like, well, if I'm bleeding, I'm having blood clots, I'm having weird stuff come out of my body, like, it's excruciating pain, don't you think it's probably done? And they were like, nah, well, we can't get called me, but they were like, we can't give you any medication because it's illegal for us to do that. Like, say the baby is still alive and we give you medication and the medication causes the baby to die and it wasn't already gone, then that's on us and that's illegal, so we can't give you any medication. I was in excruciating pain for about a week and some change. That's how long the miscarriage lasts. During this time, the dude I was talking to, he wasn't present. He was one of those people who tried to make it seem like they were present by every once in a while, like, hey, what's up, how you doing? But eventually he just stopped doing that. I was like, you're a deadbeat. Like, but it was just a whole bunch. I had to take out of work for like a month or two. I have forgot to mention that during this time, since I had the miscarriage, I was really sick. They wouldn't let me come back to work. They took me off the schedule for weeks. That's when I was forced to find a new job because they were not communicating with me. I had to stop everything. I was just at home all the time. I wasn't making money. I was just balled up, crying all the time. I have a video of me crying. If I can find it, I'll put it in me. But I was just crying all the time, in pain all the time. Couldn't take any medicine. It sucked really bad, and I couldn't tell. My cousin was the closest person to me at the time, and I couldn't talk to her about it because we had stopped talking over the situation because of some other stuff. But I didn't have anybody. I don't really have a whole bunch of friends I trust like that, so I couldn't tell anybody without fearing them putting it on blast. I was ashamed. I felt gross. I was sad. Only person who knew was my mom, my friend that took me to the hospital, and my supervisor. Those are the only people who knew. Now I know a lot of other people know. I don't really care. I don't really feel like ashamed of the situation anymore. It wasn't really my fault. I did what I needed to do. I wore protection. So here is my conclusion on what I think happened, and I'm gonna stick by this until the end of time. My cousin told me before all that stuff happened that when we were getting into the argument, after I told her that what he had done, she had told me that her boyfriend told her that my boyfriend, the first night, remember, in the dark when we were all hanging out and then me and him ended up having sex, that he told my cousin's boyfriend that we were wearing a condom, but it popped and he kept going, and there was a chance I could be pregnant, but he didn't want to tell me. And I was like, really? Like, I wasn't like, you're lying. I was just like, really? Maybe that's why he was just looking at himself for so long. I just thought he was just trying to take the condom off and etc. But maybe he knew what had happened. He just didn't tell me. And when I asked him about this, he was like, no, he's lying. They're lying. I had to really press him over and over again for him to be like, all right, yeah, it did pop, but I pulled out. I was like, well, why did I have to press you for you to tell me something like that if you pulled out and there was no chance I could be pregnant, right? So like I said, my conclusion is the first time that we had sex that I told y'all about with the condom, or even before, like in the car or something, every time was protected, but except the time at the hotel. But I think the condom did break, and or he took it off and he didn't want to tell me because it was super dark. And that's when he got me pregnant. And the second time, when we were at the hotel and he just blatantly did it, I think he was just trying to cover up for the first time that he did it, to make it seem like that's when he got me pregnant, when in reality he was trying to cover up a lie, because he lied and said that they were lying and that the condom didn't break and he pulled out, etc. He was just trying to cover up that lie, so he had to do it another time to make it seem like I got pregnant from that time. Because when I found out how far along I was, it led back to the time we were in the house in the dark. So that's what I think, and I sort of think he helped induce my miscarriage. I don't know if he did it on purpose or what, but he gave me the Percocet, gave me the drugs, gave me the alcohol, gave me the weed, let me put the tobacco in the weed, just let me put all these harmful things in my body. He let me take a Plan B. And if he already knew there was a chance of me getting pregnant, he knew that it could possibly do something. Mixing a Plan B with the Percocet, with alcohol, with weed, all in like a couple of hours, could have done something. And if he knew that I was already pregnant, or there was a chance, that's pretty fucked up that he didn't, or messed up that he didn't tell me. But that's the story of the time that I got pregnant. I had a miscarriage. Was it 2019 or 2018? I'm pretty sure it was 2018. It's been a while since me and my cousin talked. I don't know. I'll go back to some videos and stuff, and if I figure out what year it was, I'll insert it here. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. I always wanted to figure out if it was like a girl or a boy, but that was towards the end when the miscarriage was already happening. I was like, dang, what would happen if I actually did have it? That's crazy, and blah blah blah. But you know, strap it up, wear protection. Ladies, be smart, okay? Be smart. Don't do dumb stuff like I did, okay? You don't want no babies. You want to live your best life, alright? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. If you like, subscribe and like the video. Whoa. Yeah.